look like it's quite supposed to. About to get into a spot where we can stop and reveal the treat we have in store for you. Just need to get the vehicle at a good angle. Just put the camera there, Sans. Oh, the roof is killing us. The roof is not working. Just keep it there, Sans. Oh, well, this has been an epic fail due to the fact that the roof prevented us from seeing, but you've probably seen a glimpse of something interesting. I'm just going to turn around and snipe a view from here, which will be very nice, actually better than where we were before. Put the camera there, Sans. Oh, my lord. Well done, Emma. You guessed right. It was, in fact, a leopard in a tree, and it's not just a leopard. It's got a duiker as well. And this is Shadow, and her young cub is also lying up nearby. Now, I wonder how fresh this kill is. The fact that there's still what seems to be a decent amount remaining, as well as the fact that her cub's not up there trying to feed on it with her, means that I'm guessing it's fairly fresh. Now, interestingly, we can't see from this angle, but Shadow was growling quite a lot. I could just hear it. We obviously couldn't see her face. Let's try and reposition. She looks like she's got comfortable there now. And it would obviously also be nice for us to show you where the little cub is. She was lying off on the left in the grass, waiting patiently. Yay! Leopard in a tree! It's always the most exciting thing to spot. And good idea, Sense. There's a nice termite mound here that will get us a good spot. She's growling at her cub. The cub's paying no attention, but I'm just going to get us in a spot where we can hopefully see both of them. I think that's going to work. So let's show you where the cub is first. She's just lying up. Let me just cut this cable tie quickly. Open up this flap. Sorry, everyone. Okay, so there you can see the cub waiting patiently for Mom. Let's show Thandi quickly. Oh, sorry, not Thandi, Shadow, because she's really hissing. Pull it more. Oh, there we go. Watch her. She's growling and hissing and snarling. Look at that. Incredible. And I'm almost certain that it is in fact her cub that she's growling at. I could be wrong, and the reason why she will be growling at this cub is because Shadow is known to not abandon, but kick her cubs out of home a little bit younger than normal, at around a year of age. And obviously these are the initial signs and stages of her having to do that. It's kind of like a bittersweet scenario, because of course every mother leopard at some point in her life will have to be nasty to her cubs, be it male or female, and kind of slowly start chasing them out of home and telling them to start going to get their own meals and start making their own plans in life. And it's not uncommon for leopards to growl at them. So, Vicky, you are wondering why exactly they're not eating at the same time, and this is exactly why. Shadow's like, I've made this meal, I've caught it, you're a big girl now. She's telling not Barbara, her daughter, and I'm guessing what this means is that hopefully in the coming weeks and months Not Barbara will be doing her own thing, and Thandi will possibly be mating, trying to make plans for the next youngsters. Now we're just going to be making a little bit of a noise and putting up some flaps and some zips and some covers, so we'll be moving around a little bit, so we just want to get as ready as we possibly can to show you as much as possible. Seems like Shadow has calmed down for now, but it's going to be a very interesting morning. I can't wait to see how it all unfolds. There we go again, look at this. Now she's giving us a snarl, but you can see it's been predominantly aimed at the young cub. Now sadly we can't see the young cub too well and what it's doing. Isn't this incredible? Let's try listen one last time when she growls again. We're just going to turn up our ambient audio. It sometimes backfires because it sometimes just picks up all our noises and not the noises of the animals, but it'll be wonderful for you to be able to hear that low rumbling growl. Orbs. The buntwine's just at the base of the silver cluster leaf over here. Sorry guys, I was just letting Aubrey know what exactly was going on, just so he can plan his attack with parking his vehicle. Aubrey's one of the Djuma guides, and he's just arrived here with some of his guests. What I'd like to actually do is reposition and get a better view of the cub, and hopefully possibly a two shots of the cub and the mother, so you got a better idea of what's going on when they start growling at one another. And that way I can also give Aubrey's guests a good view of Shadow up the tree. Oh. So I just want to give you a good view of the cub for now. From here, a nice close-up. As you can see, it seems very relaxed, just lounging about in the grass, wondering why is Mom being so nasty to me. But sadly for you, not Barbara, you are going to have to start looking after yourself soon. And it'll be very, very interesting to see. Now, of course, I could be wrong. I could be assuming things. I could have the wrong leopards here. I could be getting confused, but I'm fairly certain it is, in fact, Shadow's young daughter here with us. If any of you can prove otherwise, let us know, but I think it's fair to say and likely to assume that if Shadow is here, this is, in fact, her youngster, and it does look like it from the glimpses we've got. Now, what I want to do is try and sneak around into a spot where we can see what the cub's responses are to her mother's growls, because I'm fairly confident that young, not Barbara, for those of you who are joining for the first time, it may be a little bit confusing. It's a bit of a joke that we've got going on, but we call this young leopard not Barbara, because one of the other guides called her Barbara once, which is kind of a joke, really, and subsequent to that, it seems like the name's been changed to not Barbara. This is going to be a little bit tricky. We can maybe squeeze through here and get it two shots. Try and pull it out, Sense. Thanks. This actually will work. Not perfectly, but we can see the youngster here. Is the... Can you believe it? Thank you, James Richards. I presumed incorrectly, and this is in fact Thandi. She was looking a little bit old, and this is Thandi and Shadow in the same sighting. Zoom out quickly and we can show a two-shot. And this is absolutely fascinating. Two sisters together in one scene. Who knows where Thandi's Shadow's young cubbers, sorry. Let me just update the guides because this is really interesting. Stations, this is Thandi that I'm here with, not Shadow's Bantuan. And what an incredible, incredible scene. Two sisters, both about 11 years old now. They were born to the same litter. And as you can see, this is a great example that even though once upon a time they would have been best buddies, now things are a lot more serious. And I'm so excited to see how this unfolds. I wonder where Not Barbara is, if she's fled the scene, or if Shadow made this kill and hasn't been able to leave it to go and collect Not Barbara wherever she was left. Absolutely awesome stuff. Now we are going to stay put. We'll be sure to call you back as soon as it looks like Thandi over here's just moved a little bit under this bush. I'm wondering if she's going to continue moving. She's very, very close to us. It's so cool that these leopards are so relaxed with our presence, and absolutely fascinating that these two sisters are in the same sighting here. I wonder how it worked out, whether Thandi heard the duikers squealing. Duikers are prone to squeal when they get caught, and maybe ran onto the scene to investigate. And I also wonder where Not Barbara is. I'm looking forward to the fact that Taylor's going to get a sheep at some point in her life and call it Not Barbara or both. And good luck to Taylor on her plans for going and finding you. Some beautiful birds in and around the marshes. I'm absolutely astounded by this, and I cannot wait to see how things unfold. I'm really interested to see how much time Thandi invests at this spot, because Shadow is not going to budge. She is going to stay in that tree with that kill until it's finished. So I would assume Thandi to kind of know that. So I'm surprised Thandi's lurking around here kind of like a hyena would. Shadow sadly popped her head onto another side of a branch. She will be keeping a beady eye on Thandi though, so she will probably keep it just like that, like we can see it now that we're having a view of Thandi. So cool that we've had two ridiculous mornings in a row with leopards. Yesterday it was Shadow, her youngster, and Tingana, and now these two sisters facing off at a kill. It doesn't get better than this. Yes, James Richards, you're correct. Shadow has had a very, very busy and family-orientated last few days, and she's fully in the Christmas spirit, touching in with lovers, sisters, you name it. And James, thanks for pointing out that this was in fact Thandi. Senzo also noticed that it wasn't the youngster. You clearly can see that I'm a little bit rusty when it comes to leopards, having spent a bit of time out of the sands. I don't know who's who. I can't tell an old leopard from a young. Where we are sitting right now, what a view we've got, and what a scene we've got unfolding. It simply doesn't get any better than this. I wonder where, and I've said this before, but I really do wonder where Shadow's daughter is. Look at her growling. I'm glad it's not us she's growling at with such fierce intent. Clearly not very impressed with her sister and her cheeky behavior, trying to pilfer a kill. Oof. But I love it. But we need an abbreviation if we're going to be mentioning her name a lot, like I've had to be doing this morning. To keep saying Not Barbara, it just doesn't quite add up. And we must remember that if any new viewers log on at any point in time, they'll think we've absolutely lost our marbles, which, to be honest, we probably have, but still, we don't want to give that away immediately and lose any other possible safarians. Okay, good stuff. Well, things seem to have calmed down here for now. We are certainly not going to be moving an inch. We are going to stay here for as long as we possibly can. And who knows, maybe we'll get lucky and Thandi will give up on her ways, wanting to scavenge here, and take us back to her new den site, wherever that is, and give us a visual of her tiny little furball cub. So good prospects for the day, and for now we're going to be sending you across to Tristan to get an update on how he's getting along. Well, interesting discussion there with all the different types of elephant we get to see on the planet. Speaking of which, there were some elephants that actually made their way, well, we could just hear them in the bushes not too far away from the sighting, so who knows, maybe they'll also come onto the scene and join this family Christmas spirit. Now, as you can see, Shadow is kind of sleepy now. There's been a lot less growling and snarling, which means, I guess, she's probably getting a little bit more comfortable with the fact that her sister is nearby, but I'm sure that we are going to see the odd snarl and hiss and growl. We've repositioned in order to try and get you the best spot of Shadow, who's up in the tree when she does snarl. Thandi ended up going deep inside a weeping wattle thicket, so not good visuals of her, so no point in really being next to her at the moment, but she is still behind us. Let me just make sure with my binoculars as you guys take a closer look at the kill. Now, the reason why I do want to make sure that we do keep checking in on Thandi is that if she does decide, oh, there she goes, if she does decide to slink off, it would definitely make sense for me to follow her and then Tristan to come in and take over the sighting, the static sighting of Shadow. Maybe Tristan would then be able to follow Shadow heading off to collect Barbara if she doesn't in fact decide to do that. It'll be a bit of a gamble because she knows that maybe Thandi will come back and try and steal the kill when she's away, but only time will tell. Certainly good prospects though. Now, I haven't had the best look at this little duiker, but I'm not too sure if it's a fully grown duiker. I think it is, judging from what portions of it I can see. It doesn't look like a baby, so decent amounts of meat there. Hi, Nikki, you wondering if this is a territorial dispute or does Thandi merely want some of this kill? Well, I think yes, at the moment it's definitely a food-orientated kind of debate that these two are going through. But it must be said that the reason why they are kind of both bumping into one another more often than they ordinarily would is due to the fact that they are busy renegotiating and taking over their mother's territory. So their mother in all likelihood died a few months ago, and her territory used to occupy this area that we're in now, and now that she's no longer here, her two daughters are filling the void. But it's not an easy kind of agreement as to who gets the land, and they're still busy kind of working out who in fact owns what area. So we're finding that they're overlapping quite a bit. We had Shadow walk basically straight through Thandi's den. We didn't see it, but her tracks indicated that she did, and we found her 100 meters away from the den sites. And now these two are together. The trackers found them together the other day, so lots of action happening. But I think we need to send you back up to the Masai Mara because our cats here seem to be quite sleepy, but you'll be glad to know that Taylor has got some lions and they are on the move. So I wonder what's going on there. Hopefully it will be something exciting. I'm feeling confident it is. Why don't you go and see for yourselves? They haven't made peace yet, but you can see Thandi's made peace with herself at least, and she seems to be having a snooze with kind of one eye open. She wakes up every now and then and has a bit of a snarl. Nothing nearly as venomous as what we saw when we came onto the scene. I'm quite surprised that Thandi's sticking around here, a term we like to use amongst the Safari Live crew is jerker lurkering, which is often associated to behavior that hyenas or devious species, can even be us, even humans can jerk a lurk from time to time. And Thandi is definitely jerk-a-lurkering this morning. And I'm surprised that she hasn't just come to terms with the fact that this is her sister's kill, and if she wants a kill for her own, she should go and get it. But she is just lying and waiting patiently, exhibiting hyena-like behavior, which is now preventing Shadow from taking us back to go and collect her young daughter, called Not Barbara. And Michael, you ask a good question. You are wondering if it wasn't in fact Shadow's sister on the scene and differ. And I'm inclined to say yes. I'm inclined to say that if it was just a random other leopard and not her sister, she would be probably less tolerant, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm just kind of humanizing the scene and the scenario too much and just thinking, well, surely be tolerant. They both need to fend for themselves, fight for their own territory. So I'm not certain that is the case. It's just kind of I've got an inclination to believe that she will be more tolerant, but maybe not. And this is the first scenario in my career where I've had two sisters interacting. I've never, ever seen two leopard sisters in the same place at the same time in a scenario like this. So I've got very little kind of first-hand knowledge, and even if I did, you know, two sisters' relationships, you know, Thandi and Shadow will be completely different to other leopards' relationships with other siblings. And it's just the same as us as humans. Some siblings get along, some don't. And there's all manner of variables and possibilities in terms of relationships, even though, yes, of course, as a general trend, leopards are solitary. And once they do become adults, they are not going to take huge notice of the fact that they are competing with a sibling or not. It's merely a rival once they become adults. Hence the lack of sharing here. And imagine if we had some footage of these two sisters playing with one another when they were little cubs growing up. And now 11 years later, here they are, hissing and snarling at one another. Interestingly, Thandi wasn't doing any snarling. She was just kind of rolling around in the grass and not too fussed, but of course Thandi had nothing to lose and Shadow did, hence Shadow being the one hissing and spitting and snarling. Very good. Well, I know you guys had an incredible sighting of lions and buffalo and topi and warthog, and nothing better than seeing lions getting chased by a buffalo, so I'm glad you got to see that, and I hope that Taylor's lions are still up and on the move. Why don't you go? Well, you wouldn't believe it, but Thandi has now decided to start sneaking up on Shadow. Shadow's fast asleep, and tricky to know what to do now. I'm almost tempted to try and get behind Thandi so we can get 2 shots of everything happening. Here we go. Here's Shadow. Shadow spotted her now. I cannot believe this. So Thandi's now stopped and she's scent marking. And she's approaching even closer. Let's have a quick look at Thandi now. Sorry, we're going to have to whip the camera around, guys, to show you everything that's happening at high speed. Senzo's also having to compensate the lighting. I cannot believe this. This is absolutely incredible. More scent marking, as you can see. And Shadow's clearly expressing her displeasure as her sister approaches closer and closer. She stood up a little bit. Now Thandi's laid down and kind of rolling around innocently, trying to make herself look as peaceful and unintimidating as possible. Maybe trying to say, "Remember me? I'm your sister. We used to be besties. Let me have some of your kill." what a fascinating scene. Nix, if you are ready, I'm ready to go live on Facebook. This is very, very cool and a very unique sighting that I think we definitely need to share with people. I'm going to keep quiet just before we go live on Facebook. Hello everyone, welcome to this action broadcast. We are coming to you live from the Sabi Sands in South Africa, and as you can see, this leopard in the tree is hissing and snarling, and she's very, very frustrated because her sister has snuck onto the scene, and her sister's just in front of us. I need to move the vehicle. Let me just reposition quickly. My name's Scott. I'm teamed up with Senzo on camera, and this is an incredible, incredible sighting that we are very, very fortunate to be witnessing. These two leopards are 11 years old. They were born in the same litter, and at the moment they're busy taking over their mother's territory. Their mother has died recently, which has opened up this massive territory for them to now move into. Now, what that means is that they're bumping into one another more often than they ordinarily would, and they are certainly not good friends, at least definitely not at the moment. And it's not uncommon for leopards, who are solitary animals, to really not take any heed of the fact that it is a sibling. They don't share once they've grown up. Now, this is Thandi on the ground. She's just given birth to a very young cub, and her sister is up in the tree there, Shadow. See, there's a small kill that actually Shadow's lying on top of at the moment. As she hisses and spits and snarls, there you can see the legs of a grey duiker, which I presume she killed in the early hours of the morning. And duiker very often squeal when they are caught and killed, therefore possibly alerting Thandi, the sister, to the fact that there was a kill in this area. Oh, she's not happy. And this is definitely the closest that we have seen these leopards together since we arrived on the scene this morning. Now, Thandi was scent marking in this area a little bit earlier, right in front of Shadow the leopard up the tree. And that's clearly kind of a display to say, look, you know, we're kind of fighting over this territory still. And Shamson, you're kind of wondering if she was doing that on purpose. Yes, she definitely was. Now Thandi slowly sneaking off. You can see there's another vehicle of tourists that are also enjoying this sighting with us. And I cannot stress how incredibly privileged we are to be witnessing a scene like this. It's hugely uncommon to see leopards interact like this, especially the fact that we know it's two sisters. Here we go. You can see Thandi scent marking. Now Megan does, and Shadow's got the kill. She's got everything at stake here. Thandi is kind of lurking around like a hyena. So fascinating scenes, and who knows how this is going to unfold. I'm quite surprised that Thandi hasn't left a little bit earlier and realized that her sister's not going to give in to her ways. Marani, you've mentioned that Thandi is being very submissive. Yes, she is. She's not growling or hissing back at her sister. She was rolling around earlier, innocently like a little cub. Even now, she's kind of trying to make herself look as innocent as possible. But you're not, Thandi. You're being sneaky, and you're lurking about. You're trying to steal your sister's hard-won meal, and that is unacceptable. So go and try and catch a meal of your own, and once you've done that, then you can take us back to your tiny little cub. There's another scent mark. Now, this leopard that we're looking at now has got a tiny, probably 6-week-old cub. We've seen it only a handful of times. And I wish you would take us back to her, or him, little cub, rather than lurking around here. Oh, interesting, we've got some elephants coming in onto the scene, and I think they've caught wind of the leopards and the kill. Let's take a look at the one. There is a vehicle in the way, but it is going to pop out into a good view and probably continue straight up to this tree that the leopard's in. Can you believe it? Now it's probably going to start holding up its trunk soon, trying to smell and get a better idea of where exactly the kill is. It's just above them now. How awesome is this? Leopard and elephant in the same shot. Literally, that elephant walked almost just about underneath the leopard, but didn't lift up its trunk as I expected it to. Now it is. Now it's getting the sense of a leopard. You can see it's holding its tail up. That's a very good sign of an elephant that's in a bit of a distress. There's the leopard in the background there. What an incredible scene. Sorry about the pole that's blocking a little bit of the leopard's face. It was a very rainy morning here, so we did have our rain covers on. Thankfully it stopped. What a scene. He may chase the leopard. I'm just going to reposition the vehicle ever so slightly just to get us a good view of that leopard lying down on the log. We're going to get some beautiful views of it. What an absolutely incredible scene. Look at that. Whew. Hello, Hannah. You're wondering if we are close to this leopard's den where she's stashing her tiny little cub. And, well, the last den sites that we knew of, we think she's changed, is certainly not close to us. It's probably a mile away from here. So I don't think her little cub is in any harm. So everything is okay for now. Where Shadow's young daughters, we also have no idea. So both of their children's are unaccounted for at the moment. And Valerie, I know you were wondering where Shadow's cub was, so no, we've got no idea where either of them are. And let's take another look at Shadow. I don't think we're going to get the best view of her now. She's keeping a close eye on Thandi, which means we are not in the best spot. But what we can do is we can just reposition again, because she is going to keep her head on that side of the branch in order to keep an eye on her sister. Can you believe this is all happening live? It's so wonderful to have you guys with us. And it looks like Thandi's on the move again, so I'm not sure how well our repositioning plan is going to work, but let's keep trying. Now, Ellen, you are wondering if these two sisters would fight to the death over a kill. I highly doubt it, and I don't think any leopards would get to that stage of the game. Maybe male leopards fighting over a territory, but two females to fight to the death over a kill is unlikely, in my opinion. Animals, unlike us humans, tend to avoid fighting, and they will hiss and growl and snarl at one another a lot. They'll try and have a adult-like debate or argument, vocal argument, as opposed to a physical fight. And I think us as humans are far more prone to violence than wild animals as a general rule. You actually very seldomly get to see wild animals fighting. Now, we might be able to snipe a bit of a two-shot here. We may have to reposition every now and then, but this should work out quite well. I'm not sure if we're going to get Shadow up in the tree. Just stay zoomed in on her sense, and let me creep forward a bit and see if it doesn't help. Oh, there's a tree in the way. Of the leopard up a tree, but at least we can see the leopard on the ground, and I guess this is the joy of being on live safari. We cannot edit out the little glitches and moments that we would prefer not to show you. You are here with us for every step of the way. Romit, you are wondering how old is this leopard? I need to reposition again. There's a leopard, another elephant, sorry, not a leopard. There's another elephant going under the tree. Romit, these two leopards are both 11 years old. They were born in the same litter, born to a female leopard called Karula, one that we know very well. Where am I going to go? Sorry, guys, this is just such an incredible scene. Take a look at this. Oh, no. This pole. And let me do this again. Sorry, guys. Sorry, Sens. I'm not used to having this pole here. I'm unpracticed, and this is a nice big elephant bull, and he could almost reach this leopard if he wanted to. Dangling up in the tree there. Ah, what an incredible scene. And Phew. Exciting stuff here, and it's been absolutely wonderful to have you guys along on this live action broadcast. It's all happening here. Two sisters hissing and spitting and snarling, fighting over a kill, some elephants coming in onto the scene. Whew. But I think the action has died down for now. We couldn't resist inviting you guys on to see the action. If you'd like to see what happens later on today with the outcome of these two sisters squabbling over this kill, be sure to join in on wildsafariLive.com, or you can just type Safari Live into YouTube, and that will let you know exactly when we will next be going live for our 2 daily regular safaris. So it's been a great pleasure having you on board. Thanks so much for joining in and sending through all those questions and comments, but we are going to say bye for now. All right, everybody. Well, I'm getting hungry. I'm actually starving, to be honest. So I'm going to head back, have some breakfast, and then come out here probably with some of the other crew members to show them this incredible scene. Senzo's got his family here for Christmas, so his little kids are in for a treat. They're going to see their first leopards, and very excited to bring them out here. So I'm going to say goodbye and be sending you back up to the Masai Mara for the last 10 minutes of the safari. It sounds like you guys had an incredible time there with Taylor and those lions. What a morning it has been. Anyway, off you go. We'll see you this afternoon.